You know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. Right, Auston Matthews?
Right, Auston?
Thank
Buddy, 0 for 3. Auston Matthews 0 for his last 3 against the Yotes.
Yikes. The Arizona Coyotes own the Maple Leafs at this point, but we have plenty of time to talk about it all. Thank you for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Steve Peters, and Craig Morgan is calling in from the East Coast, still on the road.
Parts unknown.
But unlike last year, where we did not have one winning postgame show in the month of October, here we are, the Coyotes' third game of the season, and I don't want to flex, but I'm going to flex.
Yeah,
I was right. Yeah. I was right.
And I think, Craig, we need to get this out of the way before we go much farther, because Leah's been talking about it now for over an hour, actually since the first period. So, without further ado, Sean, do you have it?
The video?
Without further ado, the receipts of me being right?
The receipts.
Yeah, we have the receipts.
Yeah.
Let's roll it. And let's play the game. When did the Coyotes get their first win? And the date that I see is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, I love it.
Because
they're going to beat
the
Toronto.
Coyotes are the Leafs.
They're going to beat Toronto in Toronto on game 3.
It's just a fun
Wow, that's
thing.
aggressive.
It's just a fun
I will
thing.
say this, though.
Why not?
If you go over the last 10 years, and we'll have to have Craig find this out before that game. The Coyotes have played extremely well in that building.
I know.
They've won.
The opposite of Pittsburgh and Boston.
Well, no matter how good Toronto is or Arizona is in the standings, it's a building that Arizona does well in. Leah?
I'm still saying Toronto.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Toronto
know,
on Monday, Montreal Thursday, Ottawa Saturday. I'm standing by Toronto.
It's proof is in the pudding. Like, she did it and she stuck with it. Toronto and Craig, we've had this discussion so many times about how certain buildings you're either really good in or you're really bad in.
We just saw them be bad in Boston.
They can't get a win. That's the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference.
They have the second best odds to win the cup going into the season.
Yeah, I still watching that game. It was like, wow, Matthews is going to wake up, right? Like Matthews, and then in the third period, and you go, okay, this is over. They actually might blow out the Yotes. Craig, what the heck is it about Scotiabank?
I don't know. Before the game, I'm sure you guys saw the number 9-4-2 all time in Scotiabank, which is their best points percentage of any existing arena in the NHL. If you throw out Seattle, where they played one game. It's crazy. And we talked about it going into Pittsburgh and Boston as well. Those are two buildings where they never win. And by the way, the next building they're going into is another place where they never win in Saint-Tropez. But this arena, for some reason, it doesn't matter who they put on the ice. It's all about the sweaters. That's it.
But did you start to feel it? Like, I felt it during the day when I was on Twitter and you go, goaltending issues, Shalgren's going to start. And I go, oh my God. Leah might be right. Like this, it's starting to set up for just exactly what happened. And I don't know what it is about Coyote players that play better in that building. Like, there were moments in this game where the Coyotes looked good.
In the second period, they looked better than the Maple Leafs.
They did. They moved the puck well. They were taking the puck away from Toronto. Like, honestly, we hadn't seen that in the first two games at all. Not even. Only time we saw them look that well and move the puck that well was on the power play. 5-on-5 tonight, there were moments where that puck movement was exceptional. Like, and I guess I'm gonna enjoy it and dwell on it a little bit because we may not see that every night. That might be a once in a couple of weeks thing. So I'm gonna enjoy it. It was a heck of a game.
Yeah, no, we're not going to see that often, probably. You're right about that.
That's why we're going to enjoy this for now.
Yeah, it is one of the things that I'm sure you guys notice, and it's been a trend. I know the season's very short right now, but it's been a trend through all these games. Their power play looks superb. And let's break it down even further. That's the same three guys that seem to connect on all their power play goals. Shayne Gostisbehere can run a power play, guys. He is an excellent power play quarterback. He is making things happen out there. And usually he's finding Nick Ritchie. They've connected on all three of Ritchie's goals this season on the power play. Shayne Gostisbehere has 5 points in 3 games. I know we keep talking about it. Some people want to keep him. A lot of people want to keep Gostisbehere and Nick Ritchie. But in terms of upping their value, if they do get moved at the trade deadline, my God, these two
nailing
guys are
it.
really
Shayne Gostisbehere understood the assignment. He truly did. And to see Gostisbehere set up Ritchie again from Mosier and Gostisbehere, like, and I saw a comment, and I know it was joking, but about the Coyotes' power play. I mean, they've been productive. That's the most consistent thing the Coyotes have going for them so far through 3 games. And by the way, tonight, let's set aside the tank. Let's set aside. They can't be winning games.
It's Toronto.
It's the 3rd game. It's Toronto.
Yeah,
we're going to completely put that narrative aside for the night and just freaking enjoy this, because 100%. There's going to be a lot of misery ahead. So I'm just that's my clearing. We're not doing that tonight. We're just going to talk. I mean, there's still some things we have to talk about, like, that probably aren't so positive, but...
Yeah, but you're right. If this team's got to, we said this before, be exciting, be fun to watch, and if you're going to win games, do it against Colorado, Tampa, Pittsburgh, and Toronto. Yep. Do it against the good teams. You cannot afford to win games against Chicago. Don't beat those teams. But this, heck yeah, and enjoy it, because beating Toronto in Toronto, the NHL media in Toronto is going to blow up tomorrow.
Especially with that call at the end of the game.
Steve Dangle, can you imagine him tomorrow? Like, what is he going to do? Like, again,
his tweets all
team.
night were unreal.
So that for me, just the price of that is worth it, to see what the national and international media, how they're going to handle losing to the Arizona Coyotes. The who? Like,
the Leafs fans were literally booing.
Yeah, booing by the second period in the Scotiabank. It's unbelievable to see that. I fantastic. I do. Again, I understand the assignment, but this is a win. You enjoy it. And here's the other thing it does. This is a group of staff, players. They've been on the road already for 7 games in preseason. They've been on the road for, seems like, almost a week already. They've got another week to go. This win helps make the road trip, I don't know, get by. Like, it puts a smile on your face tomorrow. Breakfast is going to be great tomorrow in Montreal.
And they have 2 days off.
Puts a spring in your step, and things just got better. It's been a grind. It's been difficult. It just got better. That win can carry them through the rest of this trip now. They had 3 games to go.
Petey, I think your first puck talk has to be looking at what Corey Stillman's doing with his power play.
Wow.
They've talked about simplifying it, right? Just getting down to, and a lot of teams will talk about that though, right? Oh, we just need to simplify and get pucks to the net. Well, it's not as simple as that. Clearly, they're doing some different things structurally, and it's all running through Shayne Gostisbehere. A lot of times on that flank, where he's
on the right flank,
plays,
which is strange, right? Like, usually that's he ran the power play all last year from the top, and you run the power play from the top, but you got Mosier on the top now, but still everything's going through 14 on the right hand flank, and that's unusual. The only thing, and you and I noticed this in the last game, is Clayton Keller gets his power play goal from that same spot. Clayton Keller isn't as effective on that left circle. And hear me out, Craig, you might not like this. There may be a point that Keller moves to the second power play unit so he can play that spot. He might be more effective as a 1-2 punch off of the right flank than he is over on the left flank, where he can't distribute as well. He can't move the puck as well. He almost becomes a non-factor. It's Ritchie, Mosier, and Gostisbehere with Boyd screening in front. And they're keeping it all to that side, and Keller's really not getting involved. So instead of doing it that way, why don't you have a 1-2 punch where you have Keller and Gostisbehere running off that same circle? I don't know. I'll get on the phone tomorrow and see what I can do.
Yeah, we can talk more about that this week. Couple of comments I want to read. Terrence said, on Sportsnet Radio today, Nick Kypreos called the Coyotes the equivalent of an AHL team. Beautiful win tonight. Nothing. Fox said, nothing better than the tears of Toronto fans and Canadian media. And then Joel said, Steve Dangle's meltdown will be fun to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like a 1-2 punch. You get to enjoy the game, and then you get to enjoy that. and you talk about, Craig brought up the power play, the other special teams unit too, the penalty kill.
Yeah.
They hadn't given up a shot in the first 8 minutes, killing against one of the best power plays in the National Hockey League. Not a shot. It wasn't Veggie outstanding and doing a great job. They didn't give up a shot in their first 8 minutes against one of the best power plays in the league. That's elite penalty killing.
Yeah, and I feel like the percentage there with the PK is not telling the story of what's actually happening on the unit, because I think that unit's been pretty good this season too, so maybe those things will even out. But just for one more thing on the power play, right now that unit is 7 of 17 this season. That's 41.1% right now. That's obviously not going to last, and it's a small sample, but it has been ridiculous so far.
So we're going to go through, we'll send our interns on this tomorrow in research department and find out how long it took the Coyotes to score 3 power play goals last season.
Yeah.
Because Ritchie's got 3 power play goals already himself.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, I want to see. We have to compare it to where it was a year ago. I'll do some research on it because you're right, Craig. The special teams made a difference.
Yeah, they
and usually did. For a Coyotes team, you say the special teams made a difference, but it was
not
in a negative
not
way.
in the positive.
And you thought tonight, the same thing that happened in the last game, 30 seconds into this game, the Coyotes take a penalty. And you're like, oh my, here we go again. Get a good start. You're in their building, and you get a penalty 34 seconds in. Moser takes a cross-checking penalty in front of the net that he didn't have to take, and you go, uh-oh, now we're in trouble. And it just never took off from there.
Based on my quick research, the Coyotes got their 3rd power play goal against the Seattle Kraken last year in their 12th game of the season.
Oh my
Look
God.
at that.
Wow. Thank you, Sean.
They have 7 this year. That's nuts.
Well, we have a lot to dive into. We've already touched on some of it. And let's just start with tonight by the numbers, because it really paints the picture. We've already touched on the success of the power play, but we'll go over everything here. The shots on goal, the Coyotes kept up a little bit. It started, the shots were 5-4 Toronto in the first, 9-8 Arizona in the second. Then they were severely outshot in the third period, 15-4. It really felt like Toronto turned it on in that third period. You know, who knows what went on in the locker room in the intermission, because Toronto did not look like the Toronto we know. In the second, came back with a vengeance. So they outshot the Coyotes 28-19. We've talked about the power play face off, but the blocks here. The blocks is something we wanted to really emphasize, because 18 blocks for the Coyotes and only 7 for Toronto, but forgetting about Toronto, 18 blocks. Guys were laying down in front of pucks.
And that's what you want them to do. It's usually a sign that you don't have the puck, though, so it's not necessarily a great thing when you're blocking a lot of shots. But yeah, you want your guys laying down in front of them. By the way, the Coyotes were actually 2 of 5 on the power play tonight.
Yeah, they were 2 of 5.
Yeah, continuing that elite production. So just crazy to watch. So like you said, Leah, though, it's just a night to enjoy for Coyotes fans. We're not going to get a lot of these, and they're probably not going to be as... This one felt, in a lot of ways, it felt complete. I know the Leafs made a push in the third period, but you expect that. But I think you can make a strong argument that the Coyotes were the better team for most of this game, which is not going to happen.
I thought so too, and we talked about some of the things that the Coyotes didn't... Hey, again, I like to preface some of my comments. Don't get me wrong. These two teams play 10 times. Toronto's winning 9 of them. Toronto is a better team. They're a playoff team. They are going to go much farther in this season than the Coyotes. So don't get me wrong when I say this, but I agree with Craig. They were the better team from the goaltender on out. I thought the goalie was better. I thought they turned the puck over much less than they have in their first 2 games this season. The special teams were better. They transported the puck up and down the ice, and Toronto was the team that was turning the pucks over. I agree. I think this might be as good as this Coyotes team can play, but when they do that, they're going to have a chance to win, as long as Valimaki plays like that.
Yeah.
And I think that may be the difference, because you look at even last game when it was tied 3-3, you don't get those saves. Tonight, you were getting those saves.
Yeah.
So I think, and thank goodness the NHL reviews that play, by the way, Craig. The hand pass in the third, like that's an automatic review that's Toronto instigates themselves. Otherwise, we're sitting here for overtime.
I mean, and that's all they're going to be talking about on Toronto radio.
Oh, no doubt. What are you thinking too when it's? Hey, listen, I don't want to make this suggestion, but Petey, do you remember the goal that Derek Stepan apparently scored to win the game when he was in front
in Toronto?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Toronto reviewed it, and it was like, well, it's reviewed.
It's in Toronto.
Against the Maple Leafs.
And we know which way this is going to go. It's in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it went against the Coyotes.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was agreed. And this one, Craig, I it left me, and I've texted with some people since the game's been over, and there's more than one of us shaking our heads like we have to go back to the rule book, because it's clear that after Morgan Riley hits the puck down, it hit Clayton Keller in the right foot. Now, is that enough to consider that should no longer be a hand pass? I honestly don't know. And here's the scary part, and thank goodness they fired me, because if I would have been in that room, I don't think I would have made that call. That's a really gutsy call. And I know I talked to their video department, doesn't make the call. That's the NHL, automatically instigates it. So it wasn't that, but I looked at that going, once it hit Keller's skate, I thought it was good. I don't know. I'm going to look into it again tomorrow, and by then no one will care, but I'm still going to look into it.
It's just funny because if you remember last year, when Jacob Chychrun scored that overtime goal, and there was controversy on that too, like Leafs fans just must be losing it, because now that's twice they've lost to the Coyotes on like quote unquote missed calls or bad calls in a row.
Well, and I want to talk to Craig about one of his favorite players.
Go for it.
Who gets a big goal tonight from one of my favorite players,
Christian Fischer.
Fischer from Bugstead. It's almost like Morgan from Peters. So did you what do you think?
The Chicago-Minnesota connection.
Oh wow, I didn't even think of that Chicago-Minnesota connection. So what do you think about Fish and his play tonight?
He's doing what he's supposed to do, right? I just wrote a couple days ago, obviously, about him getting a little more opportunity. And that line did get opportunity. I know all the lines have been juggled since Nick Schmaltz went out for, as I reported earlier, 6 to 8 weeks, which is a big blow. But Christian Fischer is doing the things that he's supposed to do. He's bringing energy, first of all. He's going to those dirty areas. He's going to the net. One of the things that he said he's going to do, he vowed to me that this season would be his highest shot total of his career. He's going to shoot the puck more. He believes in his shot. He believes in his ability to make plays. And early on in the season, he's playing really well for them, I think.
Yeah, and it was really great to see him get on the score sheet tonight, especially given all that he's told us, both, on our show and to you and in your story. So to see him not only have a goal, but I think he also had an assist, didn't he? Am I wrong? No, he didn't.
No, but that line had other opportunities, though. And I thought...
He did?
He had an assist on Lawson Krause's empty net.
That was it, yeah. So he did have, he did have a goal and an assist.
Yeah, because he stopped with his stick. He stopped the pass up the ice by Morgan Riley. Yeah, huge play by him as F1 on that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think not only bringing the energy, Craig, they had the ability to possess the puck in the offensive zone, made some good plays, and got pucks to the net. And I thought Bugstead, and I know he didn't get a goal tonight, but his physicality... It's line after line of guys that can bring that physical presence, and they haven't had that before. Whether it's Nick Ritchie or Cassian, they're more physical. The back end is more physical. It's just a different element to Coyote hockey than we've seen in years past. And I tell you what, it gives more room to other guys. And I think over the season, you're going to see that making a difference for guys like Michelli and Guenther and Keller.
Yeah,
Bugstead and Fischer led the team, or led all forwards in ice time tonight. So clearly Andre Tourigny liked what he was
you're rewarded.
Yeah. And to pump your guys' tires a little more, the Minnesota guy, the play he made behind the net, Petey, right?
Yeah.
That's a puck battle where he was actually outnumbered, but he won the play and got the puck out to Christian Fischer. So that's a really nice play.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, unbelievable. We already talked about him, but I want to talk about Shayne Gostisbehere again. Roaring Fork earlier, you don't need to pull it up, Sean, said Ghost is going to bring another first-round pick if he's not careful. I don't know if that might be a little bit wishful thinking, but he really is doing what everyone wants him to do. The coach, because he's playing really well. Bill Armstrong, because he wants to raise his trade value as much as possible. And he has just been delivering again and again and again. Not only did he assist that Ritchie goal, but he scored that power play goal with 1:33 left in the third, which is that was the game-winning goal. And that is why Shayne Gostisbehere is tonight's DraftKings king of the game. Christian Fischer also had a goal and an assist, but because this was the game-winning goal and he's just been performing again and again and again, Ghost is our king of the game. And Shayne earlier, we were all watching the game in our recliners here in the office, and Shayne said, do you think Ghost plays better in October because he's
Conspiracy
Ghost?
Theorist, the Ghost. The Ghost in October.
Food for thought. Food for thought.
I'm not saying no.
What were you going to say, Craig?
I just got to answer a question that's completely random. Somebody is in downtown Chicago. I can't even remember who it was that asked this question in the chat and where they should go for pizza. Go to Pequod's. Go to Pequod's. It's the best pizza in downtown Chicago. Okay, you heard it here.
There you go, Craig's Rex. But also, speaking of wishful thinking, I put money on the Coyotes money line at plus 390 today.
I gotta say, put her money where the mouth. Not as she picked him on the calendar, she put her money where her mouth is.
I really felt like I had to, and I'm so glad I did because I won big on DraftKings. And Tyler earlier in the comments said, put $50 on the Coyotes in a DraftKings parlay to win the first and to win in regulation plus 1,100, and now immediately buying tickets to another game. Thanks, Toronto. Tyler, absolutely unbelievable. I hope everybody also heard my confidence and put money. I know Shayne did, and Sean did it in a parlay that the other part didn't hit, but he had the right thinking. So we all won a little bit of money on the DraftKings Sportsbook app tonight, which was so much fun, and you can win money too. The NBA is back this week, and if you're a new customer to DraftKings, you can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. You can also boost your winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. It's simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code PHNX. That's promo code PHNX on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, we didn't get to this the other night, but I want to tonight because the team was spot on, and that's Petey's keys. So I want to pull those out. We tweeted them out earlier today. Petey, I'll hand it over to you.
Well, no, because I always give more than what I've asked for, but shoot. They needed to shoot the puck more. They needed to find their offense, which is something they haven't been able to find with Källgren. I said Källgren. Sorry, Craig. Källgren in the net.
Why would they spell it that way?
I know. So I think that was... They were better offensively than they've been for the first two games of the season. So I'll start with that. So that was good. No turnovers, limited the shots against. By far, they were the worst team in the National Hockey League for chances and shots against. Like dead last. Through two periods, they were dead even with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So to see that shot total come down gives Valimaki a chance. If you can keep under 50 and under 40 shots, you give your goaltender a chance. So I think that fantastic. Keep streaking because we talked about how they've done in that arena. And then we tweeted out after that, win the special team battles, Veggie needs to be flawless, and a little bit of luck. And I still think...
Holy shit, Petey.
I know. When I talk about a little bit of luck,
that was
I want people to go for the call on the ice because I've been texting with people too. I've just got the rule. I'm not so sure that should have counted.
We don't
tell.
Don't tell it on the record.
So and a little bit of luck. So I think all of those things fell into place. And I tell you what, for this team to win, that's exactly what's going to have to happen. Everything is going to have to fall into place. They can't be missing one piece of their game. I'm sorry, they're not good enough to just go out there and wing it. They're not. They don't have a guy that can carry the team through it. They don't have Auston Matthews to get 4 goals. They don't have Shesterkin that can stop 60 shots. They don't. They're going to have everybody pulling the rope, and I thought they did that tonight. The special teams have to be on 5-on-5 play has to be good. Goaltending has to be good. And guess what? They actually defended the defensive zone extremely well. Matter of fact, I might go on a limb and say this might be the best I've seen this team defend. Like they were collapsing around their net front. They were blocking shots. Their sticks were in lanes. And you know what? You didn't ever have that feeling that they were just running around chasing in the defensive zone. They seemed calm and then tight and compact. If they can defend like that, you can win games. You can win low-scoring games if you can defend well. And that's the best I've seen this team defend.
Yeah. Spencer said, Gary made a call. It counts now.
Yeah, buddy, we're over. They're not replaying that at the ACC/Scotiabank.
Take the 2 points and run. Love it.
Oh, yeah, they're already landing in Montreal by now. They're long gone.
Hopefully it's not cursed when you go from Toronto to Montreal.
I don't know. Not when you're traveling in country, I hope. And by the way, for those that listen to Tales from the Road, what are they about to experience in Montreal, Craig? Moments away.
What are you talking? Which part? Oh, you mean the toilets?
The toilets. Best toilets in the National Hockey League.
Maybe the best toilets in the world. Let's be honest here.
They are moments away from experiencing that pleasure. That heated floor, the heated toilet seat, and the bidet. I'm so jealous right now.
It's a little bit creepy, right? That toilet knows you're coming before you.
I know. It does. The seat lifts up. when you're coming in. The seat lifts up. It's creepy.
Okay. Oh my
Sorry.
gosh.
Pretty soon it's going to talk to you. Hello, Steve.
So they can enjoy it tonight after a big 2 points and a big win.
Well, we're enjoying our four beer.
Peaks.
I have not yet
Leah's
spilled.
not spilled yet tonight.
I have not spilled. I'm drinking. I can't stop drinking pumpkin porter. It just tastes like October. It's unbelievable. Petey, of course, is drinking his Kilt Lifter. Craig, I don't know if you have Four Peaks out in Massachusetts, but you'll be home soon.
Not available here. I will. I'll be home tomorrow.
Yeah. So hopefully. I hope everybody in the chat, let us know which Four Peaks you're enjoying tonight, and you can literally buy Four Peaks wherever you buy beer, literally anywhere, including Target, which is always so fun to me. And then also check out the 8th Street Pub if you haven't been down there already. Not only do they have great drinks, but great food as well. And if you missed our Mullet Takeover event, it was so much fun. We pre-gamed at Four Peaks with a taco bar. We're going to have plenty more events coming up at Four Peaks, including last Wednesday is the last Wednesday of this month. So come to that. Stay tuned for more information on events at Four Peaks. And if you want to drink Four Peaks, you must be 21 or older and enjoy responsibly. The last time the Coyotes lost in regulation was October 17th, 2002.
In Toronto?
Yes.
You've got to be kidding me.
What was everyone doing on October 17th, 2002? I was 6.
I think I was learning how to use the bathroom. Oh, no, I was 5. I was 5. I guess I would have, or 4.
Wow.
Oh my
well, I'd have been there, but I don't remember it. Craig, you're probably there too. I don't remember it.
You definitely don't remember it. I was working for the East Valley Tribune then, buddy.
So they weren't sending you out to the Yotes then?
That's like 17 outlets ago for me. So I have no idea what was doing there. So, hey, I wanted to ask you. I know he didn't log a lot of minutes tonight. What did you think? Did you even get a chance to zero in on Juuso Valimaki? He played his first game tonight. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, he wasn't flashy by any means. It's not a guy that really stood out on the score sheet. But you know what? Skates extremely well, moves the puck really well too. I just thought he was fluid on the ice, and I know it's one game and he wasn't extremely noticeable. I really like the way he moves. I thought he from that left side got the puck up, crisp passes, skated well. I think it's a good addition to this Coyotes team.
Yeah, he's, as I mentioned earlier, he doesn't have his U.S. visa worked out yet, but the next 2 games are also in Canada where he is allowed to play. He was supposed to be in their top 6 when they started the season, but he couldn't because of the visa issues. So I don't know when Connor Timmins is going to return to the lineup. He's day-to-day right now with that injury, but if he is ready for Montreal, I have to believe that Josh Brown bounces back out and then Connor Timmins comes in and you'll get a better look at Valimaki.
Yeah, I would think I'd keep him in the lineup. Here's the issue you have, and I think that's what you're going to see, Craig, depending on where Timmins is at. You'll pick your spots with Brown. You can see kind of the edge that Brown brings to his game. He's a guy he can push and shove after the whistle and bring a little toughness and bring a different element.
Scored last game.
I think there will be games where he is inserted in the lineup, and I think you'll have to see, before they get back to the States, you'd have to think Valimaki's going to get another chance. You'd have to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just curious what'll happen. It kind of worked out that they're in Canada and it's aligning with Timmins being out. I know we've talked about Brown as that extra piece, but Jacob Chychrun is joining the team on the road.
In Montreal, yeah.
In Montreal, he'll start skating with them. So we still don't have a timeline on when he's going to return to the lineup, but it'll be interesting. Let's just say Timmins gets back in a timely manner, and then Chychrun comes in, what they're going to do on D and how they're going to, shuffle that around.
Yeah, we've said this before. As soon as Chychrun's available and ready physically to play, he's got to play, and he's got to play extremely well. He's going to have to hit the ground running. It's not going to be, he can ease his way. No, he's going to have to play 17 to 20 minutes, and he's going to have to get on the score sheet. And the sooner he does that, the quicker he can get out. And that sounds horrible, but he needs to play. He's got to play 3, 4, 5, 6 games at a high level. And honestly, it might not take much more than that. There are teams that are just waiting to see if he can play. With the injuries he's had over the last several years, just waiting to see he can put on a pair of skates and play again. Once he can prove that, and he shows he can still skate and still provide offense, I think it won't take long. I really don't.
And Ottawa is one of those teams, of course, that has been rumored around him. Toronto was, of course, he didn't get to play or even practice here. Columbus, another team that was in the mix for Jacob Chychrun. So maybe some
all
showcasing
teams coming
going
up.
on. And we'll see how quickly he can get back in the lineup.
If he practices by tomorrow, and tomorrow's Wednesday, right? My days are
No,
Tuesday.
tomorrow's Tuesday.
That was close. I was off by a day. It's not bad. So, and they don't play Columbus till the following Tuesday. Never say never. Like that's if he can get in a good couple of practices, and they've got some time to do that now before they play on Thursday. Don't rule him out for either Saturday at 1:00 against local time against Ottawa or Tuesday night against Columbus.
I have a really fun fact for you.
Okay.
So, like you said, the last time that the Coyotes beat or lost to Toronto in regulation in Toronto was 2002. It was October 17th,
Oh my God,
2002.
that's today.
Today.
Yeah. Not only that, but do you know what else is today? It is Matthew Nyes' 20th birthday. He was born October 17th, 2002.
Wow, on the same day?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Toronto
Oh my
prospect.
God, that's
Wow.
a fun fact.
Yeah.
Another guy that should be wearing the Coyote Kachina.
Just
Just
saying. Throw him in with Auston Matthews when he comes over.
Yeah,
Oh
maybe
my
when they move when they move the Leafs to Arizona to get the Arizona franchise.
Are they going to move them now?
Two teams in it. It's like the LA Clippers, LA Lakers
Yeah,
situation.
They can share the mullet,
Maybe,
Just
maybe
like-
they'll
Perfect.
finally win a playoff series. You know,
just like crypto.
There's plenty of room in there for
Just like
everyone.
crypto. Yeah, plenty of room.
Tons of room.
Crypto,
Come on
the
down.
Sun Devils, the Leafs. Yeah,
Oh my
I like it.
goodness.
See if we can push that through.
Unreal. By the way, if you're watching this YouTube video live with us right now, hit that like button. And if you're watching us on Twitter right now, head on over to YouTube so you can comment in the chat and join us live so we can interact with you in the comments. The comments have been on point tonight. Everybody is cracking me up. Some great commentary. It's really fun to celebrate the wins because there probably won't be too many. So let's just enjoy it. But on that note, I just want to talk. Can we just go to negative land for 1 second and then we can
For
come
sure.
right back?
I live in negative one.
Stecher made a few mistakes tonight that led to some goals. So can we just talk about Stecher's play tonight for a sec?
I want to isolate that statement by P. I live in negative land.
That needs to be on a shirt
Well,
and
it's
then on
just
the
puck
back.
management.
HN.
It's turnovers, and we talked about turnovers earlier. This is something they're going to have to control. Stecher's a veteran guy. He's going to bounce back, but yeah, he's got to manage the puck better in those situations for sure. I won't go as far as to say he's joining me in negative land. I don't think so. I think there were moments that I still thought Stecher, he was all right tonight, but he is going to have to manage the puck better, and he still ends up +1.
Steven said, relocate the Leafs to Quebec City.
Yeah, they have. There's an NHL building there.
And by the way, I just want to if you're in the Discord, you saw the text my aunt sent me today about her being grumpy if the Leafs lose because I'm talking to my aunt and my grandma tomorrow who live in Canada. So my aunt's gonna be grumpy tomorrow. But so I'm literally like from Toronto, and it's still really fun to make these jokes. Let's talk about Dylan Guenther. He had I think a couple of shots on goal in the end. Yeah, 2 shots on goal. No points tonight like last night. What did you guys notice Dylan Guenther? What did you think of his play tonight? And a 2-part question. Unfortunately, more bad news. Nick Schmaltz is missing 6 to 8 weeks with an upper body injury, which is a huge, huge, huge bummer. But that injury was what opened up the opportunity for Guenther to play. Obviously, he's on that 9-game trial right now. If he goes past the 9 games, he uses up a year of his entry-level contract. We've talked about this already, but what do you think about Guenther tonight, Schmaltz being out, and whether or not Guenther could be that guy?
Well, they're sheltering Dylan Guenther. Let's be honest about that. He only played 11 and a half minutes. He had about 2.5 of those on the power play. So they're being very careful when they use him, but that's okay. I mean, he's a kid still. And when you sit down next to him, you realize how much of a kid he still is. He's so young. I'll get to this later, but I talked to Liam O'Brien about it. And he's like, yeah, he's got a few more years before he's ever even going to be able to grow a beard. That's my story. My story tomorrow is on Liam O'Brien, but
Unreal.
When he gets out there, it's the same thing I saw in his debut. He's not hurting him, right? He's not making mistakes. He's playing within the structure, which is, again, it's a bigger deal than people realize for a young kid to be so aware of all those details away from the puck. He's still getting his chances. He got a couple chances again tonight. I mean, I think they might take the full 9 games to evaluate him, especially with Schmaltz out, to see, okay, does he get more and more comfortable? Does he show something? I still think there are a lot of reasons to send him back not the least of which are financial, and keeping him under a ZLC for another year. But we'll see. I mean, he's not hurting them right now, right? When you watch Dylan Guenther, you don't say, oh my God, he doesn't belong on the ice. And I have to be honest, early in the preseason, that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, and I think if Schmaltz doesn't get hurt, I think he plays on this trip. I don't know if he would have played yet. He might not have played until Montreal or Ottawa. But now with the injury, they've got a spot open, and he's got to start looking now. Is it make more sense to send him to junior, and do we pull somebody up from down in Tucson? And we had a list here in this studio a few weeks ago. Plenty of guys down there in Tucson that can play here in the NHL. So I still think the right move is to send him down. The only way he can prove it to me is prove it on the ice. And that means that during this stretch, before he hits the 9-game limit, he needs to not only be comfortable, not make mistakes, he needs to do what he's supposed to do out there, and that's add to the offense. If he's not getting goals and adding to the offense, I would rather him go down back to play in Edmonton and score 50. Like, get back that scoring. You don't get frustrated and, I can't score anymore and I'm snake bitten. And no, go score. Go score 50. Go score 60. Lead the league. Like, I'd much rather see that than see him play 11 to 13 minutes a game and hope he might get an assist on the power play. That's just me. I think he can do all those things down in juniors. And you know what? Now he's been here. Now he sees what it's like. He knows what it takes to play in the National League. He knows the speed of the game. I can take those things, improve on them in junior. I know I need to work on some things like separating players from the puck, the physicality in the corners, all of those things I can work on. Then when I come back to training camp next year, gosh, just think how much better I'm going to be, how much more prepared I'm going to be when this team is now, and I say this now, a year from now, this team is going to try to start to win next season. Now, whether they will or not, I don't know, but they are going to try. And I think for me, I would put him back to junior, find a guy in Tucson that can come up here and fill those shoes until Schmaltz is ready to come back.
Yeah, I think the chat is mostly in agreement. Just utilize him for the full 9 games.
Yep.
And see, but
and if he gets 5 in those, if he gets 5 goals in those 9 games, keep him.
Great.
Then you're here. Then you're a goal scorer in the National Hockey League.
But people are just saying we've seen it in the past of not letting team or players develop long enough, and people want to go see him win a Memorial Cup. So I agree with both of you. We'll see what happens. We'll keep tabs on that as we go forward here. But it's just good. It's just exciting, even just to see him in the Kachina sweater, to see him on the score sheet last night. Even just to hear Matt McConnell say, "And shot on goal, Dylan Guenther." Like that's the future. So it's really fun to look forward to that. It's just been a really great day. It's just been a great day, and it started earlier, by the way, when Chop Shop catered our lunch. Sorry, Craig, you missed it.
Yeah, not surprising. You do all the cool things when I'm away.
It's absolutely unbelievable. Were you here?
No, I just missed it.
Oh my gosh, people! Well, Sean and I had chopped. What did you have, Sean?
I had the spicy Korean barbecue steak bowl.
Oh, that sounds so
buddy. Good. Sweet potato hash on the base, some cauliflower on. Unbelievable.
Also, the cookies.
Hey yo, that oatmeal like cinnamon molasses cookie, whatever I had was
so good.
Might be the best cookie I've ever had, and I'm
oatmeal,
not exaggerating.
Cinnamon molasses.
I don't know what it was.
No raisins or nuts.
No, it was just straight oatmeal and like cinnamon.
So good.
It was chewy. It was soft. It was legitimately one of the best cookies I've ever had. And I don't hand that out.
And he had one bite of it. I had one bite. Gave him at the end. Yeah, unbelievable. So if you don't know what to have for lunch tomorrow, which I find lunch to be the hardest meal of the day to choose what to eat, check out Chop Shop. It's amazing. And also sorry, Craig, I just feel like I'm flaunting to you, but we were in our recliners. We had NHL 22. Is that what you guys were playing?
Yes.
Yeah,
NHL
EA
22
Sports
on this TV, Coyotes game on this TV, Monday Night Football on this TV, and all of us were in the More Furniture recliners with some Four Peaks in our hubs.
That's what it's like right there.
That wasn't today. That was the other day, but that is a live look at just what any given afternoon.
Work.
Yeah, as PD would say, work.
I don't know how I do it. Don't know how I do it.
No, it's
amazing.
Someone's got to do it.
And sometimes I will say there were moments, Craig, that the EA Sports NHL 2022 game between Sean and Shayne was more exciting than the game in the middle. And I got myself watching the other game going, oh my gosh, great play. Oh, it's a game. So,
I can't even envision that because they're both such quiet people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, right.
sure they are.
Jesus.
Yeah, no noise in the studio.
That first game though, Alex Tuck was giving Jacob the
Yeah.
work.
Blew away Jacob. By the way,
Unreal.
Jacob's in the chat.
2 goals
Yeah,
in a
beat
fight.
Up.
Yeah, but then Sean lost in game 2 to Shayne, right? Okay.
And that's
Anywho.
what we do in the More
That's
Furniture
game
Furniture.
day.
That's
Yeah,
More
that's-
Furniture, MOR.
Look at you finishing
Morefurniture.com.
the ad. Price up your home. They have a fall sale going on right now. Perfect timing for Sean moving into his new apartment this week. Plus, you'll receive a $100 gift card for every $1,000 you spend at More Furniture. So definitely check them out. What else do you guys want to talk about from tonight? Anything? I feel like
Yeah, I do.
okay.
So we're going to say on the ice, we said, and I think to recap, we've said the Coyotes potentially were the better team tonight. Is that what I heard, Craig?
Certainly at points.
So we went to cap friendly, and the cap, what is the cap? 81.6?
81.5, I think.
81.5? Is that the cap? Something. In that ballpark, that's what the cap
Craig
is.
is just sitting in
Do you know what the
silence.
Toronto Maple Leafs cap number is?
What?
87.7. Above the cap, they put money on LTIR so they could get down enough just to play their games. The Coyotes?
The cap is 82.5, guys.
Okay.
82.5.
Still they're
They're
above
at
the cap.
87.7 above the cap. The Coyotes are at 65 million, and of that 65, there's a little bit of dead money in there too. So just saying,
Yeah.
can you imagine what $22 million could do to your franchise? I just want to throw that out there as we're talking about how these two franchises competed tonight. That's all.
Well,
I mean, the Leafs are going to be playing in May, and the Coyotes are not. But that's okay.
yeah, but I feel like Auston Matthews will give better efforts when he's playing in Tempe. So
I think so too.
But don't you think, Craig? And here's what I always thought this entire game, and I just felt I was waiting. I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Matthews. I was waiting for Marner. I was waiting for Nylander. I'm just
Nylander
waiting.
and Marner finally did.
Nylander, that was a hell of a goal he had, by the way. But we're just waiting. Well, I never felt safe. I was 2-0. You're like, wow, Toronto's just going to turn it on, right? They're just going to turn it on but that's what shows about this league. You can't just turn it on. Like they're playing against, you can say what you want about the Coyotes and their team and their roster, but there's still guys can skate up and down the ice. They're still players. They still have pride. They were blocking shots, physical in the corners. You can't just go, okay, now we're going to play. It just doesn't work that way. And I think that was a great example of that.
And you can't take penalties against the Coyotes. That's what the Coyotes have proven through these first 3 games.
And that's a great point because you could in the past.
You could
beat up the Coyotes. You could be physical on the Coyotes and you'd put them on the power. They yeah, so what? They're going to go 0-for-6. So that's fine. And if you can't score on the power play, you are going to get manhandled because teams just don't care. The best way to stop a team from beating you up physically on the ice is to score on the power play. Because then on the bench, they're going to go, hey, stop taking penalties because we're going to get our ass kicked. So stop taking penalties. And that's the best way to do it is score on the power play. So right now, the Coyotes have one of the best power plays in the National Hockey League a week into the season. I literally, that's not spinning the wheel of fantasy. That was a real statement. The Coyotes are one of the best power plays in the National Hockey League.
Yep.
Wow.
What a freaking led by Nick Ritchie, Shayne Gostisbehere, and JJ Mosier. Like anybody else around North America would say, who?
It's not Malkin and Crouse. Yeah. It's not Stamkos, Kucherov, Point. Nope.
I mean, I think they know who Gostisbehere is, but yeah, Nick Ritchie and then
Travis Boyd.
JJ Mosier is a name that more people need to learn about because he's been really good since camp started.
And we said that last year too, Craig. There were moments last year in the games he played, you knew he was something special, and he is impressing almost every time he plays. He's getting that much better. And I tell you what, when this team gets through the rebuild and they're through the other end of this tunnel, that kid's going to be a player. Like he's a kid that's going to be leading the charge from the back end by the time this thing gets to where they want to be in the promised land at the TAD.
Blatantly Asinine said $22 million in cap room equals $15 million times 7 for Matthews.
There you go. There you go. See, I like the way people think.
Keeping the checkbook open.
Maybe we should see if GMBA has an opening on the staff because that's a hell of a deal.
Love it.
Get it done.
Unreal.
Did you see GMBA?
Oh, celebrating? That goal?
Yeah, that Wyshynski tweet was great.
It was fantastic. So tell me they don't want to win.
We saw it on the Valley. And that's the thing. Like, Bill Armstrong has said to everybody and us all summer long, like, nobody is oblivious to the fact that this is year 2 of a rebuild, that the goal is not to make the playoffs. The goal is to draft high. But what he said is he wants to be he wants the team to be tough. He wants the team to be competitive. He wants the team to challenge teams when they play them. And I know that the Coyotes, were severely outshot in games 1 and 2. They lost by multiple goals games 1 and 2, but at least in those 2 games, there were moments where the Coyotes look good, or there were moments where they had a surgence, and it felt like those moments in the first 2 games came together tonight. And like you said in your keys, they had a stroke of luck. They had, they executed on what they needed to execute on, and that allowed them to win this game. It did. And maybe they won't win against Montreal and Ottawa. Maybe, they're not going to win the rest of October. Who knows? But for them to win against Toronto, those are the games you want to win. But it just feels so good.
So let's go the opposite side. Craig, is this team coming home 3-3?
Oh, slow down, buddy.
Cool your Jets, Turbo? Yeah, maybe not.
Take a look. Just go to Hockey Reference and look at how they do against the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of cursed buildings, it's actually insane. And I was actually bummed that Nick Schmaltz is out, because I wanted to see him against Ottawa again after what he did last season. So
yeah, that's a tough one, losing Nick Schmaltz. I wanted to address a couple questions in the chat.
Yeah, go for it.
One of them they've talked about. Javi Luna wanted to know how the heck Nick Ritchie did not work in Toronto with the talent they have. And we've talked about that. He got a chance to play with Marner and Matthews, and it didn't work the way Michael Bunting worked. And some of that's on the player, but PD, as a coach, when you look at that situation, how much of it's on the player? How much of it's on the coach to find a way to take advantage of a guy's talents?
I can go back to several players, and you go, it's got to be some on the player. Like you look at Connor Garland. When you watch Connor Garland playing in Tucson, there were moments he was great, but he played like a junior player. You go, he hasn't figured it out yet. And then once he figured it out, he's in the National Hockey League. Michael Bunting's a player that when he was in the American League, high skilled player. Michael Bunting's problem down in the American League was he would cause problems with his mouth, meaning he would chirp players, and he would then he would take a penalty, and he's in the penalty box. They're 4-on-4. He would do skirmishes around the net, and he would take penalties after the whistle, and he was in the box again. He had to find that fine line between being who he is and being competitive from being in the penalty box all the time. Once he found out, oh my goodness, I don't need to do that. I can still play offensive, do things good on the ice, and then skate away. Once he learned that, that's when he got his opportunity in the National Hockey League. And that's when he played well for the Arizona Coyotes. When he came up that year for the Coyotes, he was on fire. But he needed to do it first in the American League. He needed to find out where he was as a player, what made him a player, and he had to figure it out. And he had to figure it out in the American League. And that's why the American League and their coaching staff is so important, because they need to help these players find their path to the National Hockey. He could score and he was offensive, but until he took those penalties out of his game, couldn't play because he was a liability.
But for Nick Ritchie in Toronto, why wasn't Sheldon Keefe able to find a way to utilize what he can bring?
You talk about so Nick Ritchie's now here's where some of it becomes who was around you and what is the confidence they give you and how important are you, and can you get that little pat on the back and are you a part of their program? Nick Ritchie wasn't Matthews. He's not Marner. He played with those guys, but he wasn't the guy. And sometimes if you're getting the pat on the back versus the stick versus the carrot, he comes here and he's the guy. And he got freedom to play. He got more minutes to play the way you want to play. And I think that allowed Nick Ritchie to become the guy that he's always supposed to have been in this league. It was a fit. He just didn't fit in Toronto's system or scheme and what they want to do, the run and gun speed game. I think he's got to play in a team that's a little more gritty and got a little more, grit in the corner. So I think it was a fit thing for Nick Ritchie.
Okay, good analysis. A couple other things. Jeffrey Lane asks, wants me to do a story on the power play. We're actually already talking about this. This is already in the works, Jeff. So caught on that when the Coyotes come back from this road trip. And then the last thing that I wanted to address, a lot of people have asked about this. AZ Central had a story on Sky Harbor and the city of Phoenix and the airport issues, really basically calling out the city of Phoenix for they're disingenuous. The thing that I tweeted earlier, they're basically their hypocrisy. We've talked about this a lot on both the show and in writing. We've even provided some instances in the past where the city of Phoenix and Sky Harbor were just fine with structures that were going up. There are obviously residents along there as well, but it's good to see another media outlet in town diving into it. There are a couple things that I hadn't heard before in this story. It's a well-researched story worth reading. Again, don't buy it. Don't buy it when the city of Phoenix and Sky Harbor tell you, that there are issues here with residences. It's unsafe. They're going to reroute planes over South Scottsdale. The things that are coming out in those flyers, they're just blatant lies. It's absurd what's going on right now. It is pure politicking. And when you dive into the issue, when you read the IGA, when you read all these past instances, some of which AZ Central reported, you know that the city of Phoenix and Sky Harbor don't have a case. It is kind of gross what they're doing right now, trying to attack the Tempe proposal for the arena and the entertainment district.
Yeah. So we'll always listen to Craig because he's been reporting this from the start. He's well connected in this whole story. So, I know people have been getting flyers, and we've seen people even in our own Discord who are receiving flyers in people who live in Scottsdale receiving flyers. But follow Craig at Craig S. Morgan for more. And of course, always read the stories on gophnx.com. I want to talk about another thing that we did tonight that was fun. Again, I just feel like I'm flexing on Craig, who's on the East Coast, and we're talking about all the fun stuff we did today. So right before the game started tonight, we actually did a 6-person draft. I have the results. So
6-person draft on
Underdog Fantasy. So this is something you can do. First of all, you can do pick 'em, which we've talked about already, higher and lower. Yep. Literally, you just pick higher and lowers.
Too.
And you can, the more you add, the more you can, increase your winnings. You can also do private drafts with your friends, 2-person drafts, 3 6-person drafts. So we did a $6 6-person draft, $3 entry. Me, Petey, Sean, Shayne, Espo, and Totri. Petey won.
Did I?
First place.
Buddy.
You won $10. In second place, the person who did not want to do this draft, Anthony Totri. Won 6th. I got 5th.
$10?
Sean got 3rd. You won $10.
Hold on. Are you sure you're looking at the right thing?
Oh,
is yours updated?
Espo came in last.
Uh-oh.
Because mine says that your boy came in second, winning $6.
Oh, wait. You won. You came in second. Totri came in
DP
3rd.
came up.
I'll
Okay,
go
I lied.
go.
I still came in 5th either way.
If we do these drafts,
Give me
by the
my
way,
money.
these drafts on the Underdog Fantasy app are incredibly easy to do. But this is the second time Leah said at 4:03 for 4:05 games, hey, why don't we do a draft? Can we do it 15 minutes sooner?
We couldn't because I was producing ASU 15 minutes before that.
It's everything's so rushed, and we're like, you got to pick, and let's take our
You are on
time.
a timer.
Well, to be fair, I mean, they're designed to go quick, so it only takes you a few minutes.
Well, we did it. It took us, 3 minutes to draft?
You won.
I know
$10.
I won. I'm not complaining. I'm glad I won. I'm just saying it's super easy. We did it in 3 minutes with 6 people.
$3. I don't mind losing $3. Put $10 in your
And I like
pocket.
winning $10.
$6 in Sean's pocket.
I like winning $10.
I don't like losing $3 either, but Petey and I don't got to worry about that because, we won.
God. Never sharing my Chop Shop cookie with you again.
You missed out on that, Craig. More stuff you missed out on.
Yeah, more stuff. But if you want to...
Seems like I got to yell at him that he's that far away.
I know
really
you feel like you have to do that, but you don't.
Sorry to everybody listening with their headphones on.
If you want to do daily fantasy or the pick'em game, not just for NHL, but for NFL, MLB, NBA this week, download Underdog Fantasy. You can search in the App Store or click on the link in our show notes. Sign up with the promo code PHNX, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PHNX, and get in on the action today. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Okay. I was also looking because somebody in the office said, how much are the home opener tickets for the Coyotes? So I pulled them up on Game Time. They're about in the 120s, which was way less than I thought. But there's actually a game right now on Game Time. It's November 1st against Dallas. $57.
Get out of here.
On Game Time.
Right now.
I checked that today. $57 on the Game Time app for November 1st against the Dallas Stars. So
Return of Wedgie.
Wedgie versus Veggie head to head. We'll see. But if you I know it's hard for people to go to Coyotes games this year with without the upper deck cheaper seat option. Check Game Time the day of games, especially. That's when the tickets are the cheapest. I swear you won't be disappointed. Petey used Game Time to buy his son ASU hockey tickets the other day. You can buy there's ASU hockey tickets for this Friday's game for $36 on the Game Time app.
Fantastic.
So if you want to get your first look at Mullet Arena, you can get that. That's going to be fun. Like, I literally
Craig, are you going
might go to that.
Friday?
Are you going Friday or Saturday, Craig?
Friday.
So Craig will be there. Check out Game Time. You can save up to 60% when you buy last minute. Not just sporting events, but shows and concerts as well. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in our description. So whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on audio, scroll down to the description of this and click on our link to buy your tickets, and then let us know when you do. I'd love to hear people's experiences buying tickets on Game Time. I want to ask something non-hockey related, but it's something that happened to Petey today. Petey had a rattlesnake encounter today, and I just want you to tell that story for everyone.
I just don't know, because I'm very aware. I understand it's rattlesnake season. I get it. Like, our neighbors had a bite. Like, there's been 3 in our neighborhood in the last few days. I get it.
There's a rattlesnake season?
Yeah, it's like right now before they start hibernating at the end of October, and then they'll go away.
Didn't know snakes hibernated.
Yeah,
I'm from
they
New
do.
York.
So they're about done because it gets cold in the
Sean, they're out collecting acorns right now.
Okay.
Yeah, they're fattening up.
But so I didn't even pay attention. There's a big sidewalk where I walk, and I was walking on the sidewalk, and I go down to the end of the street. I hit the end of the street, and I come back. On the way there, I walked right down the middle of the sidewalk. Nothing. Crickets, nothing. I was fine. On the way back, there's a shadow from a tree, and I kept walking, and I placed my foot down, and I looked, and I was 3 inches from a rattlesnake, and I go, that's probably bad. And so I jumped, as you might imagine. I jumped, and I looked back, and I took a picture.
That's probably bad.
And I thought for a second, it still wasn't moving. I go, well, maybe it's dead. It wasn't dead. But why in the hell didn't it move when I was walking toward it? What's wrong with the snake? So I guess the good news out of the story is I stepped 3 inches from a snake, and it didn't bite me. But if I step on a snake, I imagine they'd be pissed, and he might bite me then. So just everybody out there that's living in Arizona, keep your eyes open for snakes for the next few weeks.
I have one snake encounter in my entire life. It was at Disney World, at Blizzard Beach, the water park. I was in the lazy river, and all of a sudden we see a snake just swimming in the lazy river with us. And we say, hey, Mr. Lifeguard, there's a snake there. And he's like, what color is it? And we're like, yellow and black. And he's like, oh, that's not supposed to be there. And then he grabbed one of the prop skis that was next to his little thing, and he picked it up and just threw it. And that was the end of my snake encounter.
My dad lost me in that lazy river when I was 8.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, Blizzard Beach is no
dramatic.
joke. Blizzard Beach is no joke. That lazy river is
Why don't leave home? Just don't leave home. Sit on the couch. You don't have a rattlesnake story or a snake in the beach story. Just stay home. Sit on your couch and watch PHNX.
Petey, didn't the Coyotes used to have a trainer who did rattlesnake training on the side?
He still does.
Yeah. Well,
he left the Coyotes, and
do that yourself.
It's Rattlesnake Solutions. Yeah, I talked to him that, he actually quit the Coyotes to start his own business, Rattlesnake Solutions. They rattlesnake-proof houses and new construction commercial buildings. Yep. Yeah, he's not afraid of snakes. So, yeah, he's the guy to call, Rattlesnake Solutions. Ask for Eric.
Wow. Love that. Love it. Oh, man. Well, I think it's the point in the show. We should pull up the punch card. And we got our first victory stamp. And we
don't even know what they look like. We haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it. And it doesn't matter, you all, because
it's green.
It's a green because punch card results do not guarantee first overall pick. So we're setting aside the need to lose. I saw Nick saying it earlier. Nick, it's okay for tonight. We're letting it go. It's only game 3. But we got our first winning punch. The Coyotes will not be 0 for October like last season.
Stunned.
I'm stunned, but in the best way.
Enjoy it for the rest of the night. Enjoy it while you can. And the Yotes don't play again until Thursday.
Nope, they don't.
So you can relish in this for the next 48 hours. Fantastic.
Yep. So this has been really fun. Thank you, Leah. You're welcome. And then let's also take a look at the upcoming schedule. We've already talked about it, but the Coyotes do have 2 days now before their next game, which will be good to get some rest. We got the Montreal Canadiens coming up on Thursday for what last season Craig coined it the Battle of the Basement, and then took that literally and did the post-game show from Pittsburgh in a basement. And then Saturday in Ottawa at 1 p.m., which the last time the Coyotes played a matinee against the Ottawa Senators, Nick Schmaltz scored 7 points against them. So we'll see.
Are you going out on a limb? Are they getting a win in one of those 2 games?
I feel like I've ran out of all my juice of predicting things. So, Craig, what do you think?
Do they get a win in the next 2? Wow, that was aggressive.
That was a Petey level sigh.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, people have been asking about your sighs tonight. You really haven't sighed
it wasn't
much.
bad. It wasn't bad.
Because it was
much
fun.
lower.
We had a lot of fun. So you say no?
They might get a win in one of these last 3 road games.
And do they put in the other goaltender?
I gotta believe he plays before this road trip.
So if Connor Ingram plays, he gets a win. There's my call.
But now you got a couple days, right? You have Veggie can rest after this.
Veggie's going to play
Veggie
Montreal.
Faced way fewer shots
Veggie's going to play
Montreal.
I'd say Veggie in Montreal. It's a day game in Ottawa. Less than 40. I would come back with Ingram in Ottawa. Then you don't play again until Tuesday in Columbus, and I'd go back with Veggie. So Veggie plays 5 of the first 6. Ingram gets Saturday in Ottawa. But again, I sit here, not there. So it's not up to me.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Nolan said more ASU content. Nolan, the PHNX Sun Devils show, which is a show entirely dedicated to ASU, covered ASU hockey over the weekend, and they had a whole segment on their show about ASU hockey
today. That was a good show, by the way.
So if you want some ASU hockey content, check out the PHNX Sun Devils show, and also check out gophnx.com, because I wrote a story over the weekend. Craig often writes stories about ASU
coming this
hockey.
week.
2 ASU stories this week?
2 ASU hockey stories this week.
Wow.
There you go. So just become a member now at gophnx.com. It's a great time to become a member with NBA this week. Cardinals, who knows what's going on there. We got full coverage of that. We got Coyotes coverage, ASU hockey, all of it. Anything you can think of, baseball offseason coverage, it's there. And if you become an annual member, you get a free shirt from the locker, like the one Petey is wearing right now. You can grab a hat, which you can't see, but Sean is wearing as well. So check out the locker, become a member at gophnx.com, and then join our members only Discord, which was lit during this game. Like absolutely unreal. I feel like I can just let loose in there. It was a lot of fun. So it's a great time to become a member of PHNX. Is there anything else you guys want to say about tonight?
No, I'm ready. Let's enjoy it. Everybody that's a Coyote fan, go enjoy your favorite club soda, beer, wine, brandy, whatever it is tonight. Enjoy it. With a big win over one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. And rub it in.
And if you're awake in 4 hours, you can read my Liam O'Brien story on
Wow,
really?
It's going to be
going
fun.
live at 3 a.m. in Arizona, so it can be live at 6 a.m. back east when the Coyotes get up and they put together their clip. So,
by the way, Craig, Lawson Crouse is coming for Liam O'Brien's beer.
Well, he might be mentioned in that story as well. He might have been the impetus for that story, in fact, because I was talking to Lawson Crouse for the Christian Fischer story that I wrote. And at the end of it, I said, okay, I got to ask what's up with the beard. And that's all I'm going to say for now. Because it sparked the entire story.
Along with Craig's stories, and by the way, if it happens in Coyotes, it happens in Craig's stories. But Coyotes fans, for the rest of the year, they cannot take this win away from you. If you can always flex with, yeah, but we beat the Leafs. And that's honestly in Toronto. That's all you need. That's literally all you need.
That's literally
so nobody can give it to you. Yeah, we beat the Leafs in Toronto.
I'm fueled for the rest of the season.
100%. And any internet fight? Yeah, well, guess who beat Toronto in Toronto?
Spencer said this might be the Pulitzer Craig.
Might be. Liam O'Brien's, yeah,
and then Nick said, ride the high, boys. Next stop, L City. Right back down to reality.
Well, thanks, Nick. Appreciate you.
Oh, my goodness.
I will say this. Liam O'Brien embraced the interview, so you never know. Like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Can I talk to you about your beard? Really? Some guys might not warm up that. He just owned it from the start. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I can't wait. I really can't wait to read it. That's going to be a fun one. So we're going to be off tomorrow. We're going to have an audio episode Wednesday. We'll be live Thursday post-game after the Canadiens game. Another audio episode Friday, and then live again post-game for the Saturday Senators game. So if you're not already subscribed or following wherever you get your podcasts, follow us there because we have audio only episodes every single week. Like us, leave us a review there. Give us stars, write a written review, even if it's just a thumbs up. It really means a lot to us. And it would mean a lot to us too if you would follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. We're tweeting all day, every day, especially during the games. It's a lot of fun. And then follow PHNX Sports across all social media platforms as well, because we have all the sports coverage there, but there's also some content there that you might not see on our Twitter as well. And then subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel so you never miss a live show. This has been a lot of fun tonight. Everybody who's been here live in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. Joel said, full stars tonight. Thank you so much, Joel. We appreciate it. Appreciate every single person who was here in the chat, whether you were commenting or just, sitting back and watching with us. And if you're listening later, we seriously appreciate you. You can follow each of us on Twitter at @SPetersHockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, and at Sean_DePaz. Everybody enjoy this win. The Coyotes are 1-2, which we'll remember also at a different point in the season, I am sure. Enjoy it, and we'll see everybody again on Wednesday. Bye.